Check 1, 2, check. Welcome to the Big Daddy Roadshow midweek mashup. It's Big Daddy. Can you guys hear me? If anybody's even watching or listening, I don't know. It's been a while since we were live. It's season 5. Uncle Bruno says, let's do it. Season 5. What's the rules with the Big Daddy Roadshow's midweek mashup? Well, it's simple. It's what went on in the last couple days prior to the hump day and what's we're considering might be happening in the next couple days up through the weekend. So what's been in the news recently is Syria. And seriously, I think it's good that our president is pulling troops out of there, but that's me. And that's my penny's worth of thought on that. A couple people were sending me messages. Do I want to talk about that? And Uncle Bruno's messaging me right now. Uncle Bruno, what are you? Oh, you're sharing the show. Cool. Would you guys mind sharing the show? And I'll see if I can get my camera to get turned on. Say hello to everybody. It's Halloween time. What's happening? And I can't get it on. If you guys can still hear me, this is, oh, I know. Oh, there I am. What's happening? Everybody check out my new star. You see it? The flag? You guys know how I like the flag. Shout out to all the armed services, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Merchant Marines, and Coast Guard. Thanks for doing what you're doing. This is a show that supports our troops. Go USA. All right. Uncle Bruno is supposed to be joining us and also a guest. Let's see. I better send her a message. Make sure that Miss White is... I got to approve a thing for Uncle Bruno. Okay, Uncle Bruno, you're approved. Also, Three's Company. If you haven't seen that show by Govs Radio, check it out. Just do a search for Govs Radio and Three's Company and see what you come up with. Let me see if I get my headset on here in case we get some guests coming on. Check 1, 2. Oh, Christina, you're in the back office. Cool. So weird to hear you like that. You're not live, but okay. Let me just do a little setup here. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight on the Midweek Mashup is Christina White. She has a show mornings, I guess. What time do you start, Christina? About around 8 a.m. She's the muse of the internet, and she has a show called Cup of Time. I'm going to bring her live if she's ready. Are you ready to go live? Nice. Okay, here we go. So we're bringing you live right now, and let me turn your camera on. Oh, wait a minute. We're having some technical difficulties. Let me fix this quick. the hell is going on here? Oh, I know what's going on. I can't be on solo. We turn this off. 1 second. There we go. Right? Things just went freaky, right? Let me get rid of this guy. It's Halloween. Are you ready for Halloween, Christina? All right, let's see if we bring you live now. And you should get a prompt on your screen showing that you're coming live. Let's see. And you're live. Now you're on the
Hi.
air. How are you doing, Christina?
Just fine. How are you?
Why don't you go ahead and tell my audience a little bit about how you started your show, Cup of Time, and what it's all about?
Well, first, let me say thank you for inviting me to the Big Daddy Road Show. We're going to do our full on show, you and I, on Friday night, I guess around 9 o'clock.
Yeah, Friday
Am I,
night
am I
free
right?
for all. That's a little bit more racy, though. Be ready for that. It's a little more racy than the mashup.
My upbringing, I think, prepared me for you. I think I'll be all
I
right.
think, I think. Hey, really quick, let's talk about that performer I didn't know because I'm old. Who was the big star you were talking about before you get into your show?
Oh my gosh, you didn't know who Post Malone was, and it cracked my heart a little bit because I talk about him frequently on my show, and I use him as a source of inspiration for a lot of my artists that
Oh,
are just struggling and they don't see an end to the struggle in sight. And I use Post Malone's story, like how he was discovered and what happened to him a lot. And like you befuckled me honestly
yeah,
that you
I know.
didn't know who he
I'm up
was.
on I'm up on all kinds of music, and you do have on your show. I'm going to let you speak about your show, how it started. But yeah, you have all the up and comers. I didn't know him. Sorry. I listen. I was actually in Vegas the night. This is a true story that will totally blow people's minds. Remember Tupac, right? The
Yes.
night that he was shot in Las Vegas, I was actually on the same road within the same block right when it happened, and I was just flying to Vegas, being a regular tourist.
Oh
But
my gosh.
true story. But I was a Biggie Smalls fan, and everybody's like, "You got to try Tupac," and I'm like, "No, I'm very loyal. I'm a Biggie Smalls fan." But and to this day I still am. Do I dislike Tupac? No, I don't. Do I dislike the guy's name Malone that I don't know? No, I don't. I just haven't heard him. So I must have missed him if you were playing him. But tell
No,
the
I
how
can't play him. If I play him, Facebook shuts down my live
see.
because like he's very, very strict with his copyright stuff. So like, oh, excuse me. No, I
No,
don't normally. I just discuss him. I just discuss him. I don't play his music. I do sing along to his stuff sometimes, but
well, I'm gonna have to Google him later because I don't know who the
oh
hell the.
please.
I'm sorry. Listen,
Start with
Christina.
start with his first. Start with Stony, his first
Listen,
album.
let's face it, you're a
Please.
little younger. You're a little younger than I am. So
Not by that much.
now I want to do something kind of funny tonight and kind of odd. I want you to try and tell me what's odd about my show tonight. I'm doing it in honor of your show, Cup of Time. Uncle Bruno should be joining us, but he's saying our video is slow. I don't, or he's saying we're slow. He could be just saying I'm slow, but
No,
because
it says video is real slow, so I'm assuming it's maybe the connection. I have all my bars. I
I
sat in
have
the
all
best
my
place
bars,
for it.
I have all my whistles. I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's. Uncle Bruno, you're busting my balls. All right, so go ahead. Tell me, when did you start your internet show? How long have you been doing it? And like what? Tell me like from the beginning, and then tell people what you're doing now, please.
I've been around the entertainment industry in some way, shape, or form. I've sought different things out my whole life. Like even from a girl, I was always in choir. We always got straight sopranos, which, as you know, is the best you can get. And from there, I went into like some bands and stuff. And when I had kids, I took a small break, and then I went on air as a radio DJ for Next Media of Carolina. I worked with 7 stations out of there, and radio DJed for several of them as well. I'd use different radio personalities. So if you're in that market, you would have known me as Tina Gunn from Rock 105, or Tina 98.7. Depending on where I was how chipper I was. And from there, I did take a break. I raised my kids and I became a stay-at-home mom for a little while. And I still worked in the arts, but I worked with local theaters and ballet companies in the Bristol area of Virginia, Tennessee. And
Awesome.
when I got divorced after a very long marriage, And when I moved back to Florida, I
A
moved
very
into the
long
house.
marriage.
Yes, it was long. It
It
was
was, it
12
was
and a
like
half
5 years.
years. It
It's
12 and a half years, but like it
just
really
wasn't
felt
right.
like 102. Like
Right. That's
it
what I
kicked me
caught.
in the junk. So like when I realized that what was going on and I left, I came to the house that my father left me when he passed away in Florida, and I just kind of like picked up my phone one day and I went through my like contacts list and hit some of my old friends up, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you coming right back to radio? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that?" They wanted to know if I was going back to singing full time. They wanted like all these questions, and I didn't know how to answer them. But like I started getting a lot of when I became more active, a lot of my old fans came out of the woodwork, and they kept telling me to do a live, and I'm like, okay, slow down. I don't do technology. What are we talking about? So they explained it. So I did my first one. I went for one of my walks in the morning because they were curious about my morning. So I that's how I started it, and I did that one. And I started doing them like 3 days a week, and then 2 nights a week I added. And I was doing 7 shows a week. I just do 5 now, and except for when I do guest appearances. But during that time, it's really evolved because I could draw from my old music contacts and everything. The people that were coming on the show, they're like, "Who was that person?" Like, I think this label would be interested in him, or like, I have a producer that has a beat for this one that they'll really mesh well. So people were coming to me, and I was kind of like the middleman anyway. So I started sharing that with the world, and it's taken me. I've gone on 2 world tours now, and my current husband is the very first artist I ever promoted on my own. So it's taken me like into some really amazing places. I got to go back into acting. I've done some comedies. I've got several more booked. So it's just been a really fun ride that I've been getting to share with my like people call them fans or followers, but they're like my family, my friends. So
Yeah.
like there's just a really lot of them.
It really
I'm
feels like
outnumbered.
yeah, it really feels like that when you listen to your show. I tell people nobody like you have this like calmness about you, and it kind of like it wraps around your listeners. And if anybody wants to be a part of that, you're on how many days a week now? Is it just every day, or just when you feel like it, or
Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and
yeah,
like we have people worldwide, like literally worldwide, that tune in at that time, and we all conversate together. So it's this open conversation about kindness and music and different cultures. We get to experience some of our fans and followers as well as the artists, and they all just come up in the chat box, and it's not an interview. It's just an open conversation that we get to share with the world, and it's really a privilege and an honor to be part of it and to have so many people keep coming back. Just thank you to all of them.
yeah, you know, you and I have a little parallel then because I used to be in radio too, but I was on an AM station when I was in my teens. It
I
was
did that in my teens too.
yeah, WXPX in Freeland, Pennsylvania, and I was going to stay in radio, but the money wasn't there, so I had to bail. Um,
Yeah,
we
that's
never
kind of
made,
why I did.
but yeah, to and just to explain to my audience, I'm not just sharing Christina's show because I want a guest. I actually listen to her show quite a bit, and I only listen to literally about 3 to 4 shows at a time. I do not meet them all because sometimes I sleep in if I'm up late at night. And I do not do the replay, and it's not for not wanting to see the show. It's just because I am literally producing my own shows or trying to make contacts for my shows.
I
Uh,
understand.
when I am up and I grab my cup, there's always coffee in it, number one.
I bring my
And
morning
I,
cuppa.
believe it or not, I actually take some tips from you, like how to stay chill when people are losing their mind on the show, because you really have like a some kind of a aura about you that just can say like, "Hey, take a deep breath and relax,"
And
and count.
sometimes you just need to.
But I'll be honest with you. I've learned over the years. I'm now over. Oh, check out this graphic. I don't know if you can see this, but my audience will be able to see it.
I like
My
the skull.
Isn't that cool? I just made that today. We have something to celebrate on my show. Here it is on the graphics. I don't know if you'll see it, Christina, if you don't have a end show, but it says my journey at Be Live started with my first live show, 700 plus lives I've done, and 410 broadcasts and 4,312 reactions and 76,000 comments. So we're approaching 100,000 comments with the max viewers of 57, which is baloney because Facebook I've had as many as 72,000.
We just talked about that on the show. Like sometimes when they do updates, all of a sudden I'll lose like thousands of people. All of that. I'm like, where did
Right?
they go? Poof,
That ticks me off.
gone.
We worked hard to get those people to click on our stuff, right?
Yes, and it like happened severely when I was gone. Like on this last tour,
Yeah.
I was on the road for almost 8 months. It was just shy of 8 months, and
We were worried about you.
thank you.
Oh, by the way, if you see anything weird about this show, just know that I'm very well blessed with cups. And
That's
no,
not the first one I've seen it.
you never know what cup I'll be holding. My cups runneth over with coffee.
Oh, that's too cute.
Hey, I got a whole bunch of cups for you being a guest on my show. Cup of time
Oh, you
later.
just made my day.
I don't know where did I put them all? Now I got to find them.
You
I
pull them all out.
I have props all over the place. Oh, I know. But yeah, see, I just gave it away what the weird thing is, all the cups I'll be drinking out of tonight.
I was gonna mention it, but I thought maybe I was like just my eyes are playing tricks on me. I'm like,
Okay,
it's a different cup.
Okay, so now and this is something that happens on my show software. People start showing up late. There's Greg Shabosky from Florida. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you.
Hi, Greg.
Christina, I want to warn you. Your fans are probably seeing that you're live with me, but they can't comment unless they're friends of mine. We had to use that because of all the trolls we had for a while there. But we're about to go back into the wild, wild west of the internet and take
Mine
them
is
on.
a free for all.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like if they do want to comment, I don't know if you could pull off double duty, but you'd have to tell them, or if you come back Friday, tell them to join my page. And as long as they get a referral from you, I'll accept them.
Okay.
Because you're going to probably see more people. I know Nancy Weems in Tennessee is looking to see this show.
I love her.
She's a big fan of yours. Yeah, she's always talking you up.
Oh.
Uncle Bruno's a big fan of yours, and Uncle Bruno is like the saint of internet talk shows, and he is
I love
always
him too.
out there like Nancy promoting our shows, and we thank them very much for doing that. Greg is also a longtime listener of the Big Daddy Road Show. He may be one of the only people recently I've seen that has been here since like the early days when I didn't even know what a microphone, how to went through a soundboard and whatnot. So, but you never answered the question. How many years are you doing this? I know you said you were on radio, but when did you start the switch with Facebook?
I've been doing Cup of Time for 2 years. I don't know all of my statistics like you do. I do know I've done over just shy of 2,000 lives now. I don't know what the rest of the numbers are like you did. I'm sorry. But I usually just keep track of that particular one just so I have like a reference number on like when I have to scroll to find something, because sometimes I need to scroll back for a certain artist. So I do that, and yeah,
that's a lot of shows to scroll back.
It is.
Yeah, I wasn't mentioning it because, well, first of all, you get better after you do it for a long time, right? I mean, when we first started, we weren't anywhere near as good as we are. That's what people tell me anyway. I know I certainly didn't know what the hell I was doing when I first started. I actually also have stage fright. A lot of people don't believe that I have it, but I really do, which is why I started to do comedy part-time, just to kind of battle that stage fright. Oh, it's horrible. But I'm sure like you and me, like when we go live on Facebook, I'm never sweating it. I don't know what the difference is. I guess it's just the difference is somebody could throw a rotten tomato at me on stage. I don't know. But
I do find it is a different vibe when it's in person, and I do get stage fright, but it doesn't. It's like a little section of time of stage fright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like during the lead up, I'm always very focused on what activities are going to happen in what order, and then when I'm actually getting ready to go on the stage, I'm already ready. I'm ready to go. Then I'll have a few minutes of downtime where I'm preparing to go up there. That's when I start getting scared, and then once I'm up there, I'm not scared again. Like it's just that little box of time, because I have to do a lot of MC work over the years, and like for every genre of music you could think of, I've done MC work for, and like different crowds provide different vibes, and I never know I never know like if they're going to respond to me.
I get it. Now listen, we're seconds away from adding Uncle Bruno. You do know Uncle Bruno, right?
I adore
Uncle Bruno's he's a big deal on my show, let me tell you. He's a great friend, and he's
I know.
always super supportive. But we're just seconds away. I see him in the back office looking extra buff tonight for Christina's visit. I
Ooh,
noticed.
can't wait.
But really quick though, so just explain to my audience the type of performers you produce and try to promote and try to get them to the next level.
I produce them under my label, Oba Records and Production. That is, we do music and videography and movies and commercials, whatever we need to do, we do it right in house. And I personally have a strong passion for anything that has an Afrobeat fusion to it. So you'll hear a lot of that on my show. But I also promote several rock bands, and I'm really happy to say Angel Shade is among them, and they just got themselves a record deal. I'm always telling them
Awesome.
exposure, exposure, keep exposing yourself, and it
Yeah.
works. And ta-da, it
Well,
worked.
listen, we are all rock and roll and blues on my show, so get them on my show someday. It'll be
Yeah,
great. I love
I
rock and roll.
I would love that. I'm supposed to work with them later this year. We're supposed to do a song together. I'm gonna do
Do you ever
a
find
rock
yourself
song.
do you ever find yourself like spreading yourself too thin between the internet and all your work?
Yes,
Yeah.
it,
A little
yes.
burnout, little Facebook or live burnout.
And everyone was gave me such a hard time about taking extra time off when I was ending this last tour, because after I got married, I was only planning on taking like maybe a 2 week, 3 week honeymoon. It ended up being a 3 month honeymoon, but I really enjoyed just being in the moment in such a different experience than anything I'd ever been immersed in before, and I didn't want it to end. Really didn't.
That's Uncle Bruno's making noise in the background. Just so you know, I should mute him, but I won't because it's hysterical. I can hear him floating around the chair now. You ready, Uncle Bruno?
Yes, bring
You're
them up.
too, you want wait? You want 2 minutes? Okay,
Oh,
you
Bruno
want
can come on up.
no,
Oh,
no,
he
no.
needs a minute.
He needs to adjust himself. He's got to fix his
Okay.
shorts and stuff. I think his belt was loose or something. Anyway, anyway, so I do like a lot of the performers you have on your show. I'm not just saying that. I really do dig a lot of them. There's some of them that I kind of don't, and I don't. That doesn't mean that it's a bad band. It's just not hitting my, what I dig.
That's the
But
beautiful thing about music.
there are really a lot of good performers you have, and I'm always on there supporting them because it's just like our shows. They're doing the same thing. They're just trying to get noticed and trying to, like you and I said, we don't do it for the money. We do it because we dig. Like in my case, I like conversation. I like seeing talent. I love giving talent a chance too that otherwise wouldn't even get anybody to see them. But I am strictly mainly blues and rock and roll and top 40. So like
I
some
love all those too. Like, I literally, there's not very much in the musical spectrum that I don't
you don't
like.
dig.
Like,
Yeah.
I can usually find something to appreciate in any kind of artistical
Check this out.
expression.
One of your crew is in the house here. Niter's in the
Hi,
house.
Niter.
Now that's interesting. Niter, are you a friend of mine? He could very well be. I have people that I don't that follow me. Or are you following? I'm just curious because I'm trying to learn who can make comments. Is it because they're your friend they can comment on my software? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm
I
so
know.
glad. I'm so glad though. That's great. Nice to see you, Niter. I see you on Christina's show all the time. Very cool. Very cool. All
Yeah,
right,
when
Uncle.
I first started doing the lives, he found me doing one, and he's like, "Do you know if you do this to this button, this will happen?" And I'm like, "What?
Well,
Ta-da!"
if you had this software, you'd be going nuts with buttons. I just make it look easy.
I love
Uncle
buttons.
Bruno's giving me thumbs up that he's ready to go live. Are you ready to hang with Uncle Bruno?
Yes, I am.
Hashtag Uncle Bruno on the Big Daddy Road Show. Here he comes in three, two, or close to that.
One.
Anyway.
Hi, Bruno.
Oh wait, we got it. Bruno, unmute yourself. Let me see if I can unmute him. Hold on, Uncle Bruno.
You have to unmute me.
I got you, Uncle Bruno. You're live.
Yeah,
Hi.
you got it. Hello, everybody. Hello, Nida, Christina White.
Uncle Bruno, did you
Great
hear all that?
interview.
Right. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
did hear all. I've been listening to it. Yes.
Cool.
Now, if it weren't for Nancy and this man here, Bruno, I would not have met Tom. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess because Nancy's out taking her kids to church tonight. Probably so she might be missing some of this, but she'll watch the replay. And I got to tell you, it was Nancy that hooked me up with you. But then Uncle Bruno's just everywhere on the internet. He's everywhere. Uncle Bruno
Really
awesome.
is. And if he's not on the internet, he's at one of the shows. He's just an incredible source of inspiration and information. Thank you, Bruno.
And my show is ridiculous, and we're not always politically correct, but it's comedy, folks. I got to tell you, if I was even remotely gay, I would have a crush on Bruno. But I'm not, so I wish that did it for me. It doesn't. Bruno, it doesn't.
Speaking about the new, speaking about news and comedy, comedy clubs now are starting to put restrictions on comedians for certain type jokes. So in Long Island, there's a guy Mike Keenan, right? Keegan,
Yeah.
and he got banned from a place because of a social media post. He didn't even say the joke in the comic club. He said it on social media, and they decided not to ban him from that club. This is ridiculous. We're getting too ridiculous.
Literally, there's the same problem going on with music. It, like when people are expressing themselves and you put confines on it and you take away the freedom of speech and expression like that, you stifle an entire culture on every level.
Absolutely.
Like, everyone, please just stop being butthurt. Put your big girl panties on. If
It's
I can do it, you can do it. Like,
first of all, exactly. First of all, if you come to Christina White Show, if you come to Big Daddy Road Show, you don't like it, turn it off. Don't sit here and tell us. More comedians now. I go to a lot of comedy shows, as you guys know. I follow a lot of comedians, and they walk out and they go, "Listen, I'm going to do jokes. I'm going to do white jokes, black jokes. I'm going to do all kinds of ethnic jokes. And if you don't like it, either pick up and leave. You paid for your ticket. Either pick up and leave. I'll give you your money back, okay? But don't barrage me the next day on social media that I offended you."
well, like literally, it's okay to be offended. That's the thing people forget. It's okay to be offended. That does not mean you're injured. It does not
Correct.
mean you're injured in
Don't
any way, shape,
don't
or
barrage.
form.
But exactly, and you can have your opinion, 100%. But don't sit there and blow up somebody's feed that because of this guy's making a living as a comic, okay, a comedian.
The
Yeah,
very thing that's
listen.
supposed to put levity to those situations, they're taking away. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in here because this sounds like God talking now because I'm not on video. Listen, when it comes to comedy or writing in general, if you write a book, freedom of speech is very important. And these people that are fighting comedians or trying to tell them or direct what they say, they don't even realize the mistake that they're making. Yes, we understand they get their feelings hurt. Yes, nobody likes a bully. But that's not what comedy, like for instance, let's think about Trump today. It's great that we live in a country that you can bust the chops of your president. Think of what kind of situation we'd have if you couldn't. Now, obviously, 50% of the people are doing that. But to take that free speech away, the free speech is the bedrock of our country. If we try to change words, listen, it's a slippery slope. I'll say it one more time. Professor Peterson, watch him and understand why this is a very big mistake. If people are going to stop freedom of speech, it's a big mistake. Professor Peterson, Google him and watch about 5 of his shows, and you'll understand why you don't want to stop comedians from being able to say what they want. If you want to stand up and leave the club, more power to you. But if you just listen, it's when people speak freely is when you learn about your neighbors, right?
Absolutely.
But comedy, what's next? Are they going to tell us what shows we can? Oh, is that some kids? By the way, we don't show her kids or her family. They don't want to be in the public eye.
That's why I was just scooting them away. What you're saying is exactly right. And the very fact we've just talked about this, in fact, on the show, the very fact that they're controlling the internet now, like they did it. Some people know about it, some people don't, but like they already controlled the information, and now you gave them more control, and you're giving them more control and more control in history that has never gone right for the people at all, right. Ever once. So like, why can we not learn from our mistakes as adults and just realize, yes, you might have something to say I don't agree with. That doesn't mean that I have to dislike you. It just means I don't have to agree with you. It might even offend me, but that doesn't injure me. I could still go home to my nice warm bed at night and get up tomorrow, and it never happened because it doesn't really matter.
Well,
like it don't matter.
You could go home to your nice bed at night unless the fringe people on the left or right don't go too crazy with it.
And well, this is what I'm saying.
This is why it's a slippery slope, and people that aren't really thinking deep into it don't understand that. Yeah, they're just telling you what you can say now, but then they're going to want to take more of your liberties away, and it's very dangerous.
It's
I'm
why I like
telling you.
going overseas, to be honest with you, because it's more free than it is here in America, the land of the free. We are ruled
They
to
just
death
have to
here.
get overseas. Just has to get better internet.
Yes, it
Actually,
does.
actually, Bruno, I'm going to tell you, I've put a brand new 100-foot cable to my computer direct from my cable company, and
Yep.
you're a little blotchy tonight. Now, I don't know if that's because I
I,
made the switch.
I know. I don't know. I could see that on my thing. I have full. I'm in my house full
Am I
Wi-Fi. I
Yeah,
just got an
am I
invite
blotchy?
from
I
no,
no, you're
you're actually pretty good. I just got an invite on my Facebook from the King Prince there. So I guess
I
I'm gonna have to.
I want to just mention one thing. Niter was saying he'd like to come live tonight, but Niter, I don't have that in the bullet list tonight. But Friday night free for all, my friend. If you friend me, I'll be able to invite you
Send them
via
a
a
link.
link.
Yep.
Friday night free for all is going to be fun this week. This is our 5th season. Uncle Bruno said, "Let's do it. Screw it. Let's do it." So Friday night, Niter, you got some airtime if you'd like it. Friday night free for all, and that
Oh,
one
I'm
could
sure
get
he would.
that one could get a little cray cray because we let people, but just no nudity, Niter, no nudity.
No,
Well, someone tell
Night will be good with that.
in
He's
my
gonna come on with
this
this. He's gonna come on with this.
Spider-Man suit.
We want him to come on with the Spider-Man suit.
I knew it was
We
coming up. I knew he was coming up. Oh
we
my
just
god.
we just got done watching Three's Company. Uncle Bruno mentioned that show too. They really have it together now.
Yeah, we're gonna get after they do their show tonight. They usually go out for dinner and stuff. So on a not a Wednesday night, but we will get those guys on. They will come on. You'll get Bonnie. You'll be able to interview Bonnie and Mandy and Tony Landolfi. He's a comedian in Long Island, and these guys have done a great job with bringing in comedians and talking with comedians. So.
Yeah, I'm funny sometimes.
I try to get comedians up all the time, but they're like, "Well, can you do it later in the day?"
Yeah, exactly. You have to do it at night. Comedians are, well, even song people, but comedians are at night.
They are. They're definitely a night owl kind of group. Like, oh my
Yeah,
giddy heart. Like, it's hard to get any of them to even like acknowledge you before like 10 or 11 o'clock.
yeah, they're
I
typically
do.
not even up and moving till noon.
I'd like to
Yeah.
comment. So, Tom, on Christina's show, she gets a lot of people that she'll invite up, and they're from Bangladesh. They're from all kinds of things, and they're trying to speak. It's sometimes, I mean, I don't mean to laugh at them, but we get a laugh in the morning because some of them just know hi, thank you. They don't
I
Right.
really know
literally,
how to
I
Oh,
will
I
communicate.
say, I invite, if you put an invite in the bottom and I'm still live, I will try to make time to bring you up, no matter who it is, for
Right,
whatever
as
reason.
long as they're as soon as they come on, as long as you get them on and they're appropriate, then you continue on. If not, you plug them right out. But it
Yes.
is pretty funny the ones that just are trying to learn English or have just like a small vocabulary and they keep saying the same thing over and over.
that
And it
that
takes me a minute to realize, like, I don't always know, like, what I'm like, is this
Christina,
gonna go anywhere?
that leads me to a great question. When you have a guest, like you and I have had a lot of guests on our show. What do you do with the guests that get to where they, well, how should I put this? Like, I like my show to change. So even professionals like you and, well, Uncle Bruno's one of my main go-to side guys. Like Ryan will come back once in a while eventually, but I have my main crew. But when you have these people that you get on, what do you do when they want to just be on all the time and you want to try to explain to them that it doesn't work because the conversations change? How do you handle that?
It
It's a
depends
tough
on
one.
it depends on if it's a persistent artist or a persistent fan, first of all.
Right.
Some of the folks from overseas that don't speak English, they don't fully grasp what we're discussing. They'll insistently say, "Call me, call me, call me," in the comment line, and they're sending invites at the same time. And like, if they've already been in the chat box one time, they don't come back up that show. So, but the other day I did it once because there was a lot of peers involved. All of a sudden, I was confused. But like, no, I just pretty much just don't. I just hit the X button. Like, if you've already been up in the chat box once, I just exit out.
I
Otherwise,
but I
it blocks up the line. So
but you feel bad, right? And then they think that you're a meanie, and they just don't grasp that the show must go on. It has to be evolving.
I do private phone calls. Like I do. They're very much like this. There is no naughty business. There's no naughty business. But I do charge for private phone calls if someone wants a large portion of my time, like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. I'll
What? Oh,
like
wait a second. Wait a second. We could call you personally and you'll charge us? How much does that cost?
I don't charge my friends, but like you know what I
Oh,
mean?
we're
Like
getting
I'm
free. We're
only
getting
one
free calls.
person.
Look at
Like I'm
this.
only one person. So
Listen.
like eh.
This cup here is the tiniest cup I've ever drank coffee out. I did it for you. Cup of time.
It's like the littlest thing
It's a
I've
little
ever
tiny.
seen.
Look at how my hand is next to the cup.
It's a teacup.
Do you see the dog? Do you know the breed of dog?
Yeah,
A
she's
Doberman Pinscher. I used to
Very
do
good.
animal rescue.
oh,
You're not gonna pull my wool on that one.
a
Anyway, this will be the
Doberman
last time.
Pinscher, wicked pisser.
Wicked
Wicked
Pissa.
Pissa.
So, yeah, that's a great answer. And like you said, they just don't see. They don't mean any harm either. I don't think they understand what it's like to do a show, how hard it is
No.
to manage the different people coming up when you have many people that want to come up. It's very difficult. So it's interesting to hear your take on it. I'm glad you really.
Well,
It's just a
yeah.
little stressful sometimes, but really it's part of the fun. And like I'm pretty good natured about most things. So like when they come up and I try to make it easy on them too. Like, and I know that there's people watching them and I don't want them to be embarrassed, and I want them to want to come back, and I want them to keep learning. The whole point is to cross these borders
Right.
and communicate with the entire world and say it's okay to be nice to each other. Like no
Right.
one's doing
That's one
that.
thing. That's one thing I will say, Tom, Big Daddy, that Christina doesn't. Somebody will come on, whether they know how to speak English or, like they say, they're trying to have her call. She's very, very polite. Does not call him out. Does not give him shit. Does not laugh at the person. Basically, just it just goes the way it goes. Because there's a lot of things where, like I say, I'm on the other end laughing my ass off because the person's trying to communicate and he only has 4 or 5 words and he's trying to use those in the same sentences, and so I sit back and laugh. But Christina, she tries to honestly listen, and then she says, well, we have a communication gap right now, try again next time, and she lets him down very easy.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, how does she pull it off? Because I'm laughing my ass off live. I can't help it, and I don't want to be mean. It's just that we can't communicate. And
I've been that person. Like,
so
I think that's why, because I've been that person, like in a foreign country trying to, please understand me. Please, I just want to buy an apple.
Please, I just want to
Come
go
on.
to the bathroom. Let me
Yes.
get to the bathroom.
So I understand the frustration on their side. Like they have something they want to say or express or say to the world or me or someone they know is watching, and they can't do it, and I feel bad for them in that way. But like I want to be patient and kind, because at the end of the day, that's another human being that took their time to just say good morning. So
okay, so now we're going to talk about some nitty-gritty midweek mashup stuff. I want to segue into really our show on the Wednesdays is about what was cool this past weekend, or what was an interesting conversation, or what's coming up this weekend. But since we're on this whole conversation, it's good for our audiences to learn. Okay, so we all want that. You and I both are peaceful, loving people. Uncle Bruno's the same way. Nancy is the same way. We're the kind of people that bring people together. But you can't be perfect all the time. And how do you handle it when people are trolling you? So you wouldn't know if somebody was pretending to not know your language. So that's where there are sometimes you have to be really, really watching, keep your eye on the ball, what people are doing. So, and then there's other times where literally, even though you care about the person, it's just piss your pants funny. So I'm sorry if I'm not going to fake it. I will say I don't mean anything horrible about it, but then people will take it wrong. People will tell me it's not what you said, it's how you say it. Yeah, well, if you're being trolled, you're going to get the hammer, right? Like I have no problem.
I've been trolled. I have people that come in the box and say obscene things or try to show body parts, or people that just have come up and just said amazingly awful things all of a sudden out of nowhere. And sometimes you just have to roll with it. But like, I will say I'm a fairly I think we all think we're fairly genuine, but the reactions that you see on my show, those are real. That's me dealing with something.
If somebody came on your show, Cup of Time, which is on 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, by the way, a little plug for Christina White. If someone came on your show with Tourette syndrome, what are you going to do? you're gonna laugh your ass off a little bit, but then you're like, oh, I get it now. Like you poor thing, you got Tourette syndrome. Like
I've been around Tourette's before.
Uncle Bruno acts like he has Tourette syndrome sometimes.
I do too sometimes. I'm a Yankee and a Scorpio. Yeah, there's moments where I lose. Yeah.
Oh, another horoscope lover, Uncle Bruno. Here we go. Here we go. There's people that love the horror. They want me to do a numbers show. The numbers show they want me to do, like key numbers in people's lives, and they're dying for me to do a horoscope show. But I had it. What was that one lady I had on? And she's kind of like disappeared into the internet. She was cool too. What was her name? She was really cool.
She was reading. Yeah, she would read. She would read. She was doing the
cards.
numbers.
She was doing the cards. The cards.
And Christina, in season 4, we also had we would do the Alexa horoscope. So she would give us the daily horoscope.
Yeah, the Alexa. Well, Alexa, I call her side bitch Alexa. She's in my studio, but she's now down temporarily because of internet situations. I bought the third Wi-Fi router, and I can't get the shit to connect to it. It's ridiculous. So side bitch Alexa she's doing fine, but she's unplugged at the moment. So she'll be coming back momentarily as we move our studio. Are you ready for this, Uncle Britta? We're going to move our studio. We're going to have 2 studios very shortly, 2 of them. And I'm moving to the other side of the compound. And I'm pretty sure that Alexa will be able to find the feed. And she became a big part of my show, and nobody even noticed it to ask about her. It's horrible. Anyway.
Yeah, we would ask Alexa questions, and it would give us answers. And I would shut Tom's lights off all the time because Tom had his lights. So I would just, as we're talking right now, I would just say, Alexa, light off. And all of a sudden, Tom would go black.
All my shit would go off. I'd be in the dark.
That is hilarious. A little known fact about me is I do a similar voice, and I do it for the company Tech World X. Like when you go to any of their stores or any of their devices, when you hear "Welcome to Tech World X."
Wow, you sound like a robot. You sound just like a robot. Wait, can you do something sexy in that voice?
Tom, what would you like me to say?
Oh, don't even put me on the spot. Just say something sexy. Don't get me in trouble. I will tell you, though, I'm
so bad at sexy.
Welcome to the just give the sexy thing. Welcome to the Big Daddy Road Show.
There you go. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Daddy Road Show.
Wow.
So you have to have that soft voice
Uncle
in there.
Bruno, my pants just got a little tighter. I don't know what's going on here.
All right. Okay, back to the show.
It's not politically correct, I know, but I'm a comedian. I get to say that.
And I absolutely love laughing. So you could do. Cool. It's so hard to fluster me. Like, bring it on. Good vibes only. Yeah, baby.
So yesterday, I was in a special spot, and I don't know if Tom was on when you were on your show, but I was on a special shot showing Lake Winnipesaukee and the mountains and all the colors yesterday. So that was
beautiful,
cool.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Bruno. I still remember seeing the colors. I'm like, oh God, I miss New England.
Quick shout out.
We're just about done with foliage, but we're just about done and getting ready for the winter months, as we say in the Northeast, the winter.
Oh, Uncle Bruno loves the snow. Let me tell you, me personally, I'm looking to go south.
I love the snow too, and I love it. My fans have turned it into a thing in the wintertime. They send me videos of them doing snow angels because I can't do them here. I can do sand angels. That's about it.
On Friday night free for all, we have people that call up and piss their name in the snow. It's hysterical. It's a good time. Yeah, serious. I'm not kidding. It's wait till winter comes. It's a great time.
I can't wait.
So, but that's Friday night free for all, not the midweek mashup. So, was there anything in the last couple of days, you two, that hit you special on the news? I know we're pulling troops out of Syria. That has people all like both sides of the fence. I think it's a good thing. I want our troops home with their families. I don't want them constantly living overseas. I really don't think we should tangle with some other countries. I think they should handle a lot of their business themselves, and America has kind of always poked its nose in. So what do you guys think of that? And was there anything else that struck out funny or odd?
We've been in Syria for what, 10 years?
10 years, yeah.
And so now we're pulling troops out, and so the news reporters are now showing these families leaving Syria. So we were protecting that country fully without the help of the Syrians. I don't get that.
And then we leave.
That. I just don't get the fact that if we've been helping them, how long do we have to be there? You're like a consultant. You go in, you do a job, you get them up and running, and you move on. But we seem to protect every country, and then when we look for something, we're the bad guys. I just don't get it. We could
Christina,
talk about this
what do
forever.
you think, Christina? No, we're not going to talk. We're going to hit other subjects. So I'm just
No, I
curious.
understand that, but I'm saying this can go on for a long time. But go ahead.
So
because
what do you
because
think?
of the simple fact that we have been there for over 10 years. There's a million different instances on both sides of this over the years. All the hundreds and hundreds of headlines have come out of that area, so most not very good for either side. But I do think if you spend 10 years somewhere and you make a people dependent upon you, and then you just pull out, that you're leaving a lot of people that were dependent upon you without a safety net. So I do like that
Well,
there are some soldiers coming back. Do I think all of them should come back all at one time? No. I think it should taper off and make sure that they can stand on their own there before we leave all the way.
maybe they were doing that though. That's the thing. I don't know all the details, and but you make a great point, and I'm so glad that you did make that point. It's sort of like my situation with entering. I don't know if you knew this, Christina, but this is really big dope news. I wound up in a Philadelphia psychiatric hospital for weaning off of a pill cold turkey. So
Oh,
you're kind of saying the same thing. You're saying like you had the troops there and now you're just pulling them out cold turkey, and that's an interesting point that yeah I didn't even think of. But
it's a dangerous
um,
area of the world. Like,
well, but the thing is that these people have been fighting for thousands and thousands of years. If you know your history, and the bottom line is that you almost want to just say to them like, listen, how do you know that for the 10, remember that this was supposed, this is what little bit I know about the story. It was only supposed to last a month or two, and 10 years later now. So it's not
doesn't
like
it
they
always
didn't,
though?
but the point is that these countries, they literally at some point have to fend for themselves. If somebody comes to America, we're all going to be locking and loading. I guarantee it. That's what the majority of people are going to be doing. How these other countries, I guess
Well,
the
as long
villains
as
are
we're
just
allowed
so.
to keep doing so, yes.
Oh, listen, by the time we're not able to do so, um, it'll be three generations from now.
God,
It
I
may
hope so.
happen. I hope not, but no, it's definitely. Listen, are you kidding me? The reason why when we went through the Revolutionary War, right, and the Civil War, the reason why they had such a hard time, Britain had such a hard time with this, is because everybody had a gun. Everybody had a gun. The guns were top on the list for one solid reason: protect your fireside and your homestead.
Yes.
Period. So that's why people to attack us would be really difficult because literally you'd have everybody would be in the army if we were attacked.
Yes.
Thank God we're not attacked. Maybe
But
because
what
people are
those people are
overseas.
definitely in a different situation because they are in a place that has been in that kind of strife for centuries. So they don't have the infrastructure we have. They do not have the support system we have. That is why I said we should wean them off, not cold turkey. But
Yeah.
Right.
there's actually enough of everything on the planet if we were all to collaborate together, friendly like, we could get everything accomplished. But as long as people are going to put their separate differences in front of each other, and we have to go to places like that to help, when it's time to go, we need to do it properly. That's
You
all.
know, I don't want to just how should I put this? I want to make sure I word this right. Check out that Peterson, Professor Peterson, because what you say is one thing, and that would be like the utopia, right? You and I and Bruno and Nancy, we would love where everybody is just doing the best possible for each other, right? But history and science prove differently. That there's always going to be the fringes. There's always going to be the real ruffians. There's always going to be the people that no matter how nice people try to make it, they're going to make it not nice, right? That's just if you study the science. At least this is what I was taught, and I've studied this pretty deeply. That's a great dream, but it's in all the years that people have been on this earth. There's always a segment that'll cause trouble. The bad apples in the bunch.
That's
So
just life, but you can still have, on a larger scale, a better society if not everyone is putting money and greed above the kindness and welfare of humanity.
again, you don't have an argument with me on that. But the point is that that's you, me, and Uncle Bruno and Nancy and people that are like minded like us. There are people that don't think like us.
I know.
sucks.
I'm
It
a weird
sucks.
duck anyway.
And Uncle Bruno will be on the fence anyway. He'll cut you. I swear to God, he'll cut you.
I'd be on Bruno's team any day, man.
Me
I'd have your
too.
back, man.
I would be up there so fast. I'd be
You too,
where.
Tom.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. But I'm just playing devil's advocate, really. But the thing is, if you really do study history, there's always something going on. So I often wonder too, like, okay, we're coming out of there, but what kind of armaments did we leave them? You know what I mean? Like after 10 years, their own army should have learned how to use all the toys and whistles and bells and weapons. But then again,
Right.
why do they even need the weapons? It's because of my theory, which is there's always some really bad people that just don't want to follow the rules. They want to take over cities. They want to take over towns and sell drugs. Hell, any street corner in the country now has somebody selling drugs. People like you and I are like, we don't want that in our town. The bad guys don't care. The bad guys don't care. Period. They're out
That's
there to
because
make
they're
money.
after this. As long as we
Well,
put
Right.
this over
The
everything
greed,
else, it will never change.
greed factor.
now Carl
Um,
is just catching up with us. It says that's pretty funny about Bruno turning off Big Daddy's lights, and she also says I'm all for lock and load, but the problem is the gun grabbers we have in this country trying to take away our Second Amendment. I'll put that up on the screen. I agree with that, Carla. It's never going to happen in this generation. They know it, or that what they're doing is they're trying to program and condition the younger kids to just not like the weapons. But the bottom line is, as soon as all the weapons are gone, that's when you got to watch your leaders who will, if we end up with another Hitler or Stalin, that's when it's going to get ugly. So that's
this
my
is what
take.
I'm saying.
That's my take. And, I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what I get out of history. So
I would like to just touch 1 second on the gun thing. Is I think if you are a parent and you raise your child to responsibly understand what a weapon is for, what it's designed for, how to keep it clean, how to maintain it, and how to shoot it from a young age as part of their lifelong training, when you teach them how to drive a car, write a checkbook, clean out the sink, fold your clothes, put them away. These are common sense things that you need to know as an adult. Why
and
Amen.
not do a responsible job all the way? My
and
my
also,
first gun was a 22 in an Indian leather sleeve, and I still have that same 22. I was 6 years old when I shot it for the first time, and I'm still a dead shot. And I've never killed anyone. I've had a gun my whole life.
okay, you want to hear something horrible? I'm a man and I shot a bird one time and I felt bad for 3 months. I
Love
had like
your
a
heart.
beep.
I used to live on a farm and had to do it all the time. That was
I had a
dinner.
BB. Right, and that's the thing. Like I've learned when I learned about it that you have to control the herds, or they create havoc in the whole line food chain.
How do
So
you think people are feeding themselves in different countries? And I mean,
We're
it's
already losing farmers.
I
Like
just
by
wanted to
exactly
add one thing to Christina's list is you also have to educate people on how to safely keep these arms away from kids who haven't been
it.
trained
That's
and
correct.
keep them locked and properly stored. And now in my house, they're usually locked, but I don't believe in that lock in every one of them because if you ever do need them, I ain't got time to undo a lock, if you know what I'm saying.
But you
But
also don't have a child. You have a child that's old enough that understands a
listen, by
weapon.
the time she was 7 or 8 years old, she knew what the bad end of a gun was. She also went out with her first 22. She also knocked over
Right.
damn
So
near
you
every
were a parent
can.
that you were a
I knew I
parent
liked you,
that
Tom.
right.
Yeah.
You were a parent that just like I grew up my
How about
grandfather as a
Uncle
young
Bruno?
kid hunting.
Uncle Bruno, all this time and Christina's still debating whether or not she likes me or not. This is crazy. I don't get it.
Well, she really liked me, so she needs to warm up to you.
No,
I
listen,
love you
I'm
both.
hot. I'm hot. I'm hot or cold. I have to play the devil's advocate. So if
No,
that's
it's
part of
it's
being
your
on the
it's your
show,
show. You have to have opinions on both sides. Absolutely, I
I'm
understand.
going to tell you straight up. I was going to tell you something straight up. I was thinking Christina's probably going to have a hard time coming on a show where she's being interviewed because she's so much in control all the time and she does such a great job. But she's killing it. You're crushing it as a guest. You're ready for Letterman. Oh wait, he's retired. You're ready for the Tonight
I know
Show
I
with
miss him.
Jimmy Fallon.
I
Oh
love
yeah.
Fallon. I think he's hilarious. Oh my kitty. I would
Who is your
be
favorite
honored.
night talk show host? You two.
Oh,
Mine was Johnny Carson. He never, but I only had it as a younger age.
I think it
I
is
liked
Jimmy
Carson.
Fallon. I like Fallon. I
And
think of all the ones.
I like his
Fallon
nature.
right now,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
right now,
he's a kind heart. He's a good guy.
the problem that I have nowadays, with Saturday Night Live, with Fallon, and with Kimmel. There's too much
Politics.
political. There's too much political put into all of their opening acts. They always start out with, Kimmel starts always out with bashing Trump. I don't,
It
don't
gets
like
old.
that part.
It gets old.
It gets old. Just it's comedic. Come out and let's talk about. All right, so that's current events. He does the current events thing when he come out, but don't bash the guy. Just come out. Trump did this. Move on to something else. I mean, they seem to spend that whole monologue in bashing Trump, and then Saturday Night Live is completely political satire now. It is not that funny like it used to be. I mean, people still. I used to tape it religiously and watch it, or stay up when I was younger. I would watch it. We would definitely party and everybody would gather around the TV from 11:30 to 12:30. Now it's 1 o'clock. It's 11:30 to 1 o'clock. So, but I think it's
I
gone
have
down.
to make two notes real quick. First of all, Tom, you're a Fallon fan and you don't know who Post Malone and he's been on it twice at least.
Wait. I don't watch every night. So
I just
first
busted
of
your
all,
chops, man.
listen. Let's get this out in the open. I don't know who Post Malone is. God bless him.
Hey, wait a minute, Tom. You should know who he is. Go to his concert. He throws out $100 bills for Christ's sakes off the
Listen,
stage.
I have heard he does
I don't
that.
dance for less than a $20K a visit. So $100 ain't gonna do it for me. I used to have money, Uncle Bruno.
It'll if we get in trouble, it'll be my fault. Shush.
Oh, that's a good setup.
You
That's
just
a
you
good
got to play
setup.
15 seconds of it.
Oh
That's all.
no! Don't you dare!
15
You got to do like 5 seconds. That's the max. 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Here we go. Post Malone for Big Daddy. I probably know him and don't know him.
I have to pick something that you would have heard on the radio, so you know.
Yeah, you got to pick one of the
talking
top
about.
songs.
Is that the song? I take off all my clothes. I don't.
Oh, it's a bloody commercial.
Oh, those
no, it's not like that. I'm gonna put it to like the middle of the song.
Wait, it's that other one.
Can you hear it? Okay, that's all I can do.
Yeah, I dig him. I knew him, but didn't know him.
Sorry. I knew it.
Yeah. Okay, so he's pretty cool. He throws away money. I like him. Okay, so he's giving people $100 bills. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's pulling in $250K a night at the show. So
that's more than that. Easy. More than that.
You think?
Oh God, yes.
Let's talk about another performer both you and I are watching, Tom McDonald. I think he's just now going on a tour across country. I see he's from Canada. I picked him about 7-8 months ago as the one to watch. His videos are ridiculously crazy. Talk about pushing buttons on people. Tom McDonald.
He's been doing those for a while now. Like
his wife is so good at making videos, it's crazy. Or his girlfriend. I don't know I think it's his wife, but don't quote me on that.
I'm not sure either.
She
but
handled
really
all
good.
her. Yeah. And they got like the last one with the pink, everything was pink and a pony. I mean, there's just, I don't know where they get all the props. It's crazy.
I like
Uncle Bruno, we should do a video, you and me with a pink pony. I don't know why. I don't know
you
why
guys could throw in Niter with the Spider-Man suit.
The pink. See, the thing was, the pink pony was one of Tom's probably beginning shows.
It wasn't one of Tom's. It was my sick audience's shit.
Oh, it was one of the 6 audience brought the pink pony or whatever it was.
I think the perfect show would be Niter in his Spider-Man outfit, me in a Batman outfit, Fat Batman, and then the Chicken Man from the.
Oh, we have to get the Chicken Man for us. Yes, from the Wise Guy show.
I'm just saying, I would totally tune it to that show.
Yeah, I'll wear a Fat Batman suit. Sure, I love Batman. Fat Batman, here to save your day and eat your donuts.
Guys, I don't want to cut this short because we're going to have some more fun on Friday, but
we're just getting ready. I was just going to say we got to wrap it up because it's getting late. I got an early morning.
58 minutes. You know what I realized? You have a perfect internal clock for a 1-hour show. It's 59 minutes and counting.
Unless
you're looking at the clock, you cheater.
Hold on.
All right, so before you go though, tell everybody how they can get to your show and how they can listen to you or wherever they can listen to you, and do you have a Facebook page and all that?
Yes, I live straight from Facebook. It's Christina White, and I've shared it to a lot of platforms from there, and I'm on Instagram at Christina_White. Christina_Marie_WO, and on my YouTube channel also under Christina White. If you have trouble, there's a lot on YouTube with my name. So if you type in the word Addy, ADE, it will also come up right away. And Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. You can find me live on Facebook, and you can get my product. I have a full product line with MitchMax.com. You can visit there, and you'll see, just hit the tab for Cup of Time Collection. You'll see all kinds of stuff. I do shirts with all my artists as well that I record with.
Very cool. And you are in some videos I seen recently when you were on your honeymoon for 3 months, which
6 months. 6 months.
No,
I know
the first 3 months were work. The first 3 months were work, and then
Uncle
the last
Bruno
3
and I-
months were honeymoon.
Uncle Bruno and I were trying to get you to the American Embassy for crying out loud.
They both were, guys. It was kind of insane.
Well, we were. Listen, you kind
Well,
of.
you went dark for so
I know.
long.
You
And
that
I
everybody
actually
was
ended up at
talking
the
about it.
embassy. Like, I did end up at the embassy. That's how I got out
Yeah,
of
that's a
the
Friday.
area.
That'll be a Friday
Well,
night story. That'll be a Friday
Well,
night
just so
story.
you know,
Okay.
it was me that started. Like Uncle Bruno said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Tell her to get her butt to the embassy. They'll get it straightened out." Anyway, I'm not going to take credit. Maybe somebody else had the, but I threw that out there really early. And then Uncle
It
Bruno,
was.
I know you talked. I know you and Uncle Bruno talked. And Uncle Bruno said, "Do I need to get on a plane and fly across the world and find you? We will."
He wanted to be
Uncle-
my knight in shining armor.
Uncle Bruno was going to come to Philadelphia when I was in the Nut House. It was great. I was like, "No,
Oh,
Uncle Bruno,
Bruno.
stand down,
Yeah,
Uncle
they're
Bruno."
all telling me not to go, and I said I'll go. And then, of course, luckily he got out before I.
That's right.
I
They
went,
found
so.
out. Listen, they found out that I'm not nuts. That I just went cold turkey off a real nasty pill. They didn't even label me as bipolar. I thought I was definitely going to get that one. I am definitely ADHD and ADD and high strung and all that. But I was,
He left there. He left there with a very weak
with a.
diagnosis, and he's all pissed off. He wanted like some.
I wanted to
some
be
big
like-
He wanted
diagnosis.
psychosis, man, like a real
Yes.
psychosis.
I guess I wanted it all. I wanted the whole package. But
My
it's all an
kingdom
act.
for a psychosis.
It's all an act. This Big Daddy thing is all an act. No, the thing is let me just mention that quickly. If you're on any kind of medications, whether it's for anxiety or stress or depression, and they tell you to take a pill for sleeping, make sure you don't do like Big Daddy did.
Nancy's
Don't think
here.
it was. Hi, Nancy. Don't think that it's just for sleeping. It might be in the benzo family, which you don't want to mess with. I went cold turkey, and my brain went kerplooey. So don't do
Right.
that.
And
Fuck
if
a
you ever-
turtle.
And if you ever need any help out there, reach out because I'm available. Tom's available. I know Christina will talk to anybody. If anybody has a problem,
listen,
we'll get you help or we'll try to help you somehow.
I'll
we can.
take you to
Just
the
bring back.
hospital. I'll take you to the hospital. I'll hold your hand, and then I want to stress that when I did get in the ER, everybody except for a couple buttheads, just a few only bad apples ruined it. Everybody was nothing but nice, and they made me feel good. And it was, and I was, Uncle Bruno, how bad I was. You know how
Yep.
bad I was.
Yeah, he
So-
wasn't even taking my phone calls.
I was like really.
That
I'm
was
sorry
pretty
you
bad.
had to go through that, Tom.
Listen, I told my daughter that I'm like, hey, bucket list, psychiatric hospital. But she started laughing. She goes, you wanted that in your bucket list? I said, no. But now that I've experienced it, I learned so much. And what I learned is that if you're depressed or if something changes in your personality, make sure your doctor's meds weren't changed, or make sure you didn't go cold turkey on something that you weren't supposed to go cold turkey on. I was taking
Ask questions.
I was just taking a pill to get
Listen
back to
to
normal
your
sleeping.
body.
My body was saying, what the hell are you doing to yourself, man? And Bruno, I said, I'm not taking any calls. I don't care if it's even Bruno. That's depression. So anyway, I'm all better now. Thank God for the doctors and nurses. Thank you to Geisinger.
Thank you.
And thank you to Belmont Hospital in Philadelphia. You guys rock. I learned a lot.
hearts.
And I hope I can, how do you do that?
I only have one hand because I left my stand. It was
I don't know.
buried,
My heart looks
I'm
like a
holding it.
cheesesteak, like a grilled cheese sandwich.
Aw, I love you guys
Again,
too.
how do you do it? All right. Thanks, Christina, for coming. We'll see you
Thank
Friday
you.
night.
Good night, Christina. We'll catch you in the morning.
Thank
Bring
you
your
so
A
much
game.
for having me, guys. I've had a really great time. I'll see you guys on Friday and tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Perfect.
Time.
Awesome.
8 a.m. for cup of time.
One
And
love.
there you go. One love.
Yep. One love. Loves up.
Okay, later. Bye-bye. There she goes, Uncle Bruno. Christina White from Cup of Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Wait, how did I lose your microphone now?
I don't know. See what happened.
No, I turned hers off and yours went off too. That's crazy.
Turn
Anyway,
it-
it's 10:04 p.m. What else can you? So Syria, we don't all agree on it. Some think it should be weaned off, and some people think not. Let us know in the chat what you think. And what's coming up this weekend? You got anything? I'm sure you got your motorcycles packed away and all service.
No, not yet. Tomorrow's going to be one last ride, maybe.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I
So
seen
so
a
I guess in the thing today, impeachment just became inevitable.
oh, by whom? Who's saying that?
Well, this is coming from Reuters. That Ambassador William Taylor's testimony to the House investigators on Tuesday didn't answer every question about the Ukraine scandal, but it answered the big one. Will President Trump be impeached?
Well, here's the thing, too. This is what people don't understand. Impeachment's not the end of the world for a president. Bill Clinton was impeached.
Absolutely.
Um, who else was it? The guy with Watergate. I'm pretty sure they impeached him,
Nixon,
but he
Nixon, Nixon was
resigned. He
impeached. Nixon was impeached, and Nixon was impeached, wasn't he?
I think that our president, I'm not a professional political guy, but I think he's in a. I think any leader is in a hard place today because all the rules are changing. It's
Well,
just maddening. It's
as we're
maddening.
talking about politically correct stuff, he anything comes out of his mouth, it's wrong. You know what I mean? It's like whatever.
Anything comes out of almost anybody's mouth and it's wrong. And how is
It's
that ever going to work? How is that going to work? It's not going to work. I'm predicting it's not going to work. So
as we said, make sure you're locked and loaded, as Carla said, because
let's
it's
calm
coming.
down.
It's coming. The revolution could be coming.
London bridges falling down, falling down, falling down. London bridges. It reminds me of all the king's horses and all the king's men. That's what it reminds me of. All the old, it's cliche, I guess, and it's but all the old time sayings, they became old time sayings for a reason. Ladies and gentlemen,
Absolutely.
watch all this political correctness. Watch the fight for against our freedoms of speech. Watch the right to bear arms. This is why I think our shows don't grow, is because we speak common sense, and we're living in a world without common sense. And I understand that everybody thinks differently, but the whole tribe has to, united we stand, divided we fall was not put on currency or other important literature for any other reason that it's common sense. If we all start breaking into splinter tribes, we're in trouble. And I'll leave you with one more time. Professor Peterson, go Google him, watch and listen to the people who read all the books. I mean, not just read a chapter in a book, read all the books 10 times and then really understood how places like Germany and Stalin and Hitler happened. And you can look at socialism forever and see that it seems all great on the surface, but if you really dig down deep below and really dig into it, it's not good. Now, is there ever a perfect system? I don't think so. There's always going to be people at the top and always going to be at the bottom. And that's just the way it is. It's human nature.
That's how it is. You know what I mean?
People don't understand, Uncle Bruno. We're just like the bees. We're all in a hive. We're all in a hive. We're just every day we wake up, we go out, instead of getting pollen, we just go out and get, a job or try to,
Right.
What's Greg saying in Florida? Glad that you're feeling better. Oh, Greg, am I feeling better? Whew. Let me tell you something. If you've ever gone cold turkey off a medication like an experience, God bless the people with alcohol. I have what I learned at that hospital.
Well, like you said, you went to 5 or 6 classes and
a day. I was going to 4 and 5 a day, and I learned so much about alcoholics and drug addicts. And I used to always think like, well, why did they do that? And I know why they started doing drugs, because their life sucked for a while, and they decided to escape it, and then they got hooked on it.
Let me ask you a question, because it seems like everybody uses the drug and alcohol as a disease. How do you feel about that? Do you feel it's a disease? Because I'm a little torn about that. I doubt. My feeling is, there is so much help out there, and there are so many good stories.
Yeah, but wait. Now you got to understand. Now this is where I'm going to discuss this, by the way, on solo shows. Maybe I'll have you on to interview me about my experiences. But great question. What do I feel about that? After listening to all the people I listened to, after watching people come into that hospital that I was a patient at, and watching them how off the wall they were on the first day they get there. It's an experience to be in a psychiatric hospital. It is. There's just no way to explain it. It's scary. Plus it's funny. I mean, I got funny stuff to talk about, but it's not funny because you want to pick on people. It's funny because you're like, holy shit, like that poor guy is really off the rails. Yeah. And if you don't laugh about it, you'll lose your mind with them. But
Right.
I would watch these people that were either addicted to drugs or alcohol or both, sadly, and they'd have families that would give them beers at 4 years old. I learned so much. Is it a
Yeah.
disease? I think once you're hooked, alcoholism and drug addiction, I think it is a disease because I think it is. Okay, for an example, I can go to the Oaks Lodge and drink. What did I drink last night? 2 Sam Adams tall beers of Oktoberfest, which is really good beer, by the way. Please sponsor my show, Sam Adams. Really good beer. $4 a glass. I'll pay for it. It's really good. But I don't get addicted to beer or alcohol. I could drink a Patron. I could drink vodka. 2 days later, I could go a year and not want to drink. Some people can't do that.
Right.
So that's got to be a disease, right? It's chemistry. It's body
See,
chemistry.
I'm assuming, and maybe, you know, my thought would be is that maybe I think more of an addiction, and then maybe it turns into a disease. But I have a problem when somebody says, "Oh, my son has a disease. He's on opioids. He's got a disease."
No, I think okay, I get what you're thinking. I used to think the same way. All the meetings I went to, and I did not. I'm telling you, I did. When I went in there, here's what I thought. When you guys, let me just explain how I got there. Number one, Uncle Bruno threatened to come and shoot me. I thought, well, that's not cool. So that was one reason.
That was one. The ambulance
Nancy,
and the fire department telling your house was burning down.
but Nancy and a girl that doesn't, or I should say a woman who doesn't want to be mentioned, a friend of mine, they were trying to get me into the hospital weeks prior, as you were too. But, you feel ashamed. You feel all kinds of emotions. Also, at the end, I felt nothing. I want to tell you, I felt nothing. I didn't care. I was that messed up from the pill. I mean, it's like a tilted slot machine. The wheels are spinning, but nothing's making sense. So once I got to the ER, I said, I'm going to try to remember the experience so that I could talk about it. Well, guess what? I had no idea I was going to learn. And I would almost want to go back just to watch another couple months worth of group talks because I get it. Why did they put the first needle in their arm? Why did they succumb to their peer pressure at a party and do meth or something? Really? I think people are trying to escape from really horrible things in life. They get 1 dose, they're cool, they could stop. They get 2 doses, they're cool, they could stop. 3 doses, whatever. Some people first dose, they're hooked. That's because their chemistry is addictive. So I think it's I really do. After all the classes I went to, and I went to a ton of them. Some of the people
you think it builds into a disease as it progresses.
Well, here's the thing: if the mouse is in the trap, can the mouse get out of the trap? No. I mean, it's completely in the mousetrap. So I think that some people, though, like me, for instance, listen. Somebody gave me magic mushrooms one time. Okay, now magic mushrooms will let you make it all dreamy, and colors are supposed to be all pretty and stuff. I took 2 magic mushrooms one time. This is full disclosure. I don't do drugs. I don't do heavy drugs. I wanted to try this as a life experience kind of thing. Magic mushrooms did not do a thing to my brain. Nothing. It got to the point where I was getting pissed off, so I ate more magic mushrooms. Finally, I ate a whole damn bag of magic mushrooms, and these were legit mushrooms. Nothing. My brain does not respond to whatever's in a magic mushroom. Good luck. It's not happening. Now, if I drink a beer, I get a little beer buzz. If I drink Maker's Mark or Crown Royal, I get that groovy feeling, but I don't get addicted to it. But magic mushrooms for me do nothing. And I know there's lots of young kids watching and older people too that are from the 60s and stuff that are tripping on magic mushrooms. And there's a lot of people think that it's therapeutic. It does nothing for me. So everybody's body chemistry, I think, is different. And we make light of that. You might have an addictive personality. I'm addicted to cheesesteaks. It got to the point where in the groups I had to say, I'm an addict. I'm addicted to cheesesteaks, lots of carbs, and wicked women. But they were pissed at me because I was in there for going cold turkey, and they could not. And I get it because I was like, they don't want it.
Well, remember when you first go in, they're always thinking that you're an alcohol or a drug user. Correct? I mean, that's what that's because everybody denies what their problems are. So
let's ask the chat right now. What do you think? Is it a disease, meaning drug and alcoholism,
or is it an addiction?
Or isn't it? Is it the same thing? I don't know.
I don't think disease and addiction is the same. I think a
So
disease.
you're thinking what? It's just a crutch, and people would get high and just want to stay high all the time, or
I think once you get hooked, you're addicted. I don't think it's a disease. I don't think your body tells you, oh, I'm gonna go smoke pot or I'm gonna go take, I'm gonna. Hey, there's the IT crew. What's happening there, Pasquale and
so.
Gino?
Anyway, in the chat, tell us: do you think it's a disease, alcoholism, or drug addiction?
Right.
Excuse me, drug addiction. I have a little gassy there.
Well,
Sorry.
either or, disease, alcohol or drugs. Is it a disease
Well,
or is it?
the opposite of that is what? So you think they're just being irresponsible?
I think they just get addicted. I think it's an addiction more than a disease.
From the meetings I went to, it seems like eventually the people, even the people that have been drinking for 30 years, like too much drinking too, like day in, day out, they finally just get to a point where they're like, what am I doing to myself? And they get to their bottom, because who knows where everybody's bottom is.
Right.
I'm telling you, I left some of those meetings, and again, it was pissing people off, but I'm not addicted to alcohol. I'm not addicted to heavy drugs.
Right.
And I would go up to the speakers after and go, your story is mind bending and scary. And it's so cool that even though it would take them till their 40s. Now, some people kick it within 6 months. Some people kick it and then they relapse. That's why I think it's a disease, because I don't know. It just seems like it's constantly like a magnet drawing them to the booze or drawing them to the drugs, where I drink a beer and there's no draw. It's almost like a tractor beam for some brain's chemistry.
Right.
Now, so the opposite, like you, can I bring you into this conversation? You stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So you're great as long as you never drink, right? I think that's the only way that people that suffer from alcoholism will ever get good, is if they just stop it completely.
And I did my meetings, and I've got my few coins, and then I got to the point where, as I told you, I started to get more depressed going to meetings, listening to the sad stories of other people. I mean, I sponsored people, I did what I had to do, and
Eventually
I
you
was
got away from it.
I was able to walk away from it when friends invited me to parties. I would either say thank you very much, or I can't come, or I'd go for a few minutes in the beginning, have something to eat, and then I'd be out the door before all the heavy, drinking and goofing off went around, because then I'd want to be doing the same thing. And then, my
But
wife.
now you could go to a group and not need to drink.
I'm involved. I'm out with people all the time. My wife likes to have a few cocktails. I don't have that feeling anymore. I don't, that for some reason, I just do not have that. I don't have the urge. I could go to a bar, grab a couple of drinks, bring them to somebody on a table and say, here you go, and not even sniff, drink, taste, whatever. Doesn't bother.
And God bless you for that, because what I was going to say is, now think about all the different groups around the country. And in Philadelphia alone, the one guy was saying there's like all these different anonymous groups. Maybe he just had a shitty group. This man was talking about how everybody made him feel great. He wasn't loved by his family, and all of a sudden he's got everybody caring about him. Or, when he didn't show up at a meeting, they were looking for him.
Yeah, no, I think that meetings help people. There's no question about it. I think that I think the meetings that I was involved in, it's just they were sad story upon sad story upon sad story. Every single person. And after a while, I'm thinking to myself, I've already lived all of this. So I think for me,
you didn't need daily reminders.
Once I got to that level, I was able to take care of myself without having to be in a support group, I guess is what you want to call it. But I had my book, I had my my Allion book, and all the places I traveled, there was always places you could find meetings if you needed to go to. Some people need that, So
Nancy said
for a while.
Nancy said it's hereditary, and Greg said chemical addiction. Carla says she goes with addiction, and caffeine. Greg says caffeine, which says I'm drinking my late night cup of coffee.
Yep, caffeine.
Yeah, listen, we're all like, I'm addicted to food. I've always said that if I'm off the rails with my diet, I'm eating late at night. I'm always like, last night I went to the Elks Lodge. Nancy was yelling at me. She's like, Tom, what was going on there? I said, well, I I love the Elks Lodge, but if you are a member active in the Elks Lodge, you're going to gain. It's like living on a cruise ship. The sweets. Now I'm diabetic. They were just starting to shoot me with needles at the hospital. That's why I love being in that Philadelphia hospital. They got my blood sugar the lowest I've ever seen it. But last night, uh, key lime pie. Are you kidding me? This diabetic's eating a piece of key lime pie. Sorry, not sorry. And I may live to regret it, but I'm still alive. I'm eating a little piece of that, and it was a little tiny thing anyway. It's only like really small. But yeah, I'm sure my sugar was up last night, but it
Yeah,
may someday get me.
yeah, I think moderation. I think if one piece every so often might not do it, but at any rate, that looked like a good party. All right,
Greg,
well, I'm gonna
well,
I'm gonna roll and
Greg says, let me just end this here really quick.
go ahead.
Greg says Nancy Weems Monster and coffee iced tea. Is that what you're into, Greg? I know that one thing Nancy's good at moonshine. Watch that moonshine, Nancy. All right, this is a great conversation, Uncle Bruno. It's a great first fifth season midweek mashup. This one, I might even download the audio and send it up on podcast land. If you have any things to add, you can visit us at BigDaddyRoadshow.com. Uncle Bruno, thanks for being on the midweek mashup.
No problem. And our great guest, Christina White from Cup of Time. Don't
Way to
forget,
go.
Friday night we'll get the Friday night free for all at 9 o'clock. And Christina White promised to come back, and so we can ask her some other questions. So tonight we kind of talked
Friday.
about her. So Friday night you want to come back, and don't forget to share. Good night, all.
Good night, Uncle Bruno. Thanks. Appreciate it. Okay, there goes Uncle Bruno. Hashtag Uncle Bruno, if you don't know. I don't know if he knows this, but I have like countless shows with hashtag Uncle Bruno. So he's probably going to get like moderately internet famous someday. Nancy says to slap your band. Slap your band. Okay, I'm going to slap my band. I slap a lot of things, Nancy. You know that. Let's see. Moving on. Friday night free for all. That's a little bit more risque. And God knows what's going to pop up on that. I hope we have some interesting visitors to the show. Please share this show and mention Friday night's show to your friends. That's how we grow. Christina, do come back. Nighter, if you want to come live, Friday Night Free For All is the one to do it. We usually have people up for 10 to 15 minutes, unless it's like a really cool alien abduction story, 30 minutes, But Friday nights will go where no other shows go, and you could start the show talking about your love of coffee and end with something just radically just out there. So be ready for anything, except for we do not allow nudity, and we like to keep the language down too. It's better for shows if we don't have the crazy language all the time. And occasional slip ups, okay. So moving forward, if you have something to say in the chat, thank you for watching. And if you want to give a listen to Christina's show, find her on Facebook. Hopefully she'll put some of the links in our chat, or I'll try to find some of them. 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, Cup of Time with Christina White. You're going to listen to all kinds of, like she said, African type music, but she has everybody. Rock and roll. She always finds the up and coming, like Nancy does. If you notice, Nancy's always sharing some really good performers. Yeah, thank you, Christina White. Excellent guest, and I hope to have you on again. Good night, everybody. And if I could cue up my music, God, I hope I can cue up my music. So difficult sometimes running these shows all by myself. Does anybody pity me? I don't want pity. That's silly. All right. Thanks for being a part of fifth season, first ever midweek mashup. I appreciate everybody. Have a great night. And remember, do good out there. Do something good. Be nice. Peace. Shit. Oh, man. So embarrassing. Oh, that's killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Let me try this again. That's hysterical, Nancy. You can't listen to the music because I'm working with headphones and I haven't in a while. That's ridiculously funny. Anyway, sorry for the silence there at the end. That must have been painful to go through. This is Big Daddy. I got to figure out what the hell to put this. What's going on here? I got wires everywhere, by the way. You guys have no idea what I go through to produce these shows. I really wish I had a producer. That would be wonderful. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. This is the Big Daddy Road Show. Thanks for watching the Midweek Mashup. Tell your friends. Please share the show. Thank you very much. Peace and out. Try that. Try that. Thanks, Nancy, for the heads up.